EA Electronics. EA.
Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and take a little trip. Maybe see some trees, some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now. Hey, what's up? And welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. I am your host, Nate Kauser. I feel like out of place there. Ooh, look at that background. See Graffiti Alley? So today's show is, oh, I got a ripped shirt on, so we'll all see it all fits together. See what happens? But I am here. Today is interesting. One, I started a new project because often I get bored. School is out, so I'm not teaching any art or theater right now. And I didn't do a summer program like I normally do. But I am here and I just feel weird. So I'll say, okay, so I started this project called Manifest, hence this book. I bought it from Drama Mama Bookshop at dramamamabookshop.com. You can go there and get your own. It's actually a wooden cover. And young lady, Alyssa Brock, actually sells these. She has them in like a bigger size, all different sizes. And she's at the Baltimore Farmers Market on Sundays under the Gay Street Bridge. So definitely go check her out. And I remember buying this book and just trying to support and just looking at it. Like literally it's small enough to fit inside my bag. So I just carried it around with me like all the time. And I needed a project to kind of get me through the summer. I'm working a personal project. I'm working currently on Blueprints, the movie project, but that's more so me turning something that I've already done into a film. And because that's taken a different avenue, I've had to kind of not so much put it on the back burner, but had to start from ground zero and kind of build on that. And we're actually putting together that production as we speak. Shout out to Latanya Valencia Moss, who will be soon Dr. Latanya Valencia Moss, the author of that book. Shout out to the cast again, Amma Brown, and soon to be married, both my G Mama and Ginjel, Miss J Nicole and Sheena Barksdale. They're both getting married. Jay will be getting married in just a few days, and I'll be going to New Jersey where the Sheena of Barksdale will be getting married in Jersey in October. So shout out to them. So the Manifest, if you go to Instagram, you'll be able to see the first 7 days. So every day for an entire year, 365 days, I'll be doing a live kind of open journal / letter to just whomever. It doesn't have a direction or a specific person that I'm speaking to, and a lot of the stories are personal, but a lot of the experiences and lessons that I have gotten from a lot of my mistakes or just my journey or just my experiences in general, teachable moments. And everything isn't depressing. The first couple days was a little dark, not so dark, but just personal stuff. And actually the first week I kind of played it safe. I wrote more the first 7 days, and I talked less. And I'm thinking of switching that around for week 2 and seeing how that goes. Talk a little bit more and speak less. And I'm using all of my creative faculties, writing, speaking, storytelling. I even was singing a little bit. I wanted to add music, and all of them won't be in that same format. So probably week from week, I'll switch up the format a little bit more. And at the end of the 365 days, at the end of the year, the day of the 365th entry, I'll be doing a installation project to kind of encompass what I've done and how I've spoken over the year. It won't be that day, but after that day, we'll actually put up the art show. I'm already starting to plan it now, and it'll kind of give like a timeline of what's going on and how I've been able to get through the year. And I can't really speak on it yet because I haven't gone through it. So this year will kind of give me a framework in how to better prompt myself as an artist. Sometimes, well, I'll say in general, I haven't been the strongest writer because I don't do it that often. When I sit down and I'm focused on it, it's great. But just random journaling, I've never been able to just do it. And if you notice, these pages are empty because it's a permanent book. So in this book, I can't like take the sheets out and add new sheets. So I've really wanted to like use this book for like something important. And that's kind of how the Instagram post came to be, and it really gave me a different perspective. So I was not afraid, but I was a little hesitant in writing in a book, because whatever I write in a book is permanent. You know, if I rip a page out, that's just ripping a page out. I can't add new pages to it. So I said, well, what if what I wanted to write in this book, I actually put that on Instagram and made it kind of an interactive experience, whereas though it's not just private. Let me check the time real quick. So in me writing, I never liked writing in a journal. One, because I could never keep the consistency up.
I'm an engineer.
But I said, I was trying to start a story and I didn't want to like get cut off. Thank you. Monty Beats, if you know him, I don't need to say anything. Anyway, so my experience with journaling has been not so much that I'm lazy, but just the consistency of writing. So do I write in the daytime? Do I live my day and then write? Do I write in the middle of the day when something grabs me or when something happens? And it was never really like clear to me, how do you write a journal? So I'm kind of creating my own process for writing a journal. So in the morning time or during the day, I'll write something or I'll leave a message on that Instagram page. And then in the evening time, I'll either write something or say something that kind of balances it out based on where my mind was in the beginning of the day versus what came to me throughout the day. All the entries will not be current. A lot of the things that I spoke about in the first week, some of them were things that I was actively experiencing, some of the things that I had experienced before, and I'll read some of them throughout the day. But a lot of them it was all over the place. And that was my issue with journaling. I was told that, you know, journaling should chronicle what you're currently going through. And that's, sometimes you ain't going through nothing. Sometimes it's just a regular day. So I pulled from things that have happened to me. I pulled from poems that I had already written, or just kind of notes that I used to write that used to be my Facebook persona. And because I never use Facebook personally, I just would use it creatively. But it really has allowed me to kind of think about telling a story. And I haven't been on stage in almost a year now, and it's like I don't have the itch like I used to. I used to like be this, couldn't wait to be on stage, couldn't wait to do something different, and I don't feel that anymore. I kind of lost that passion that I once had for acting, because a lot of the roles that I was being offered, a lot of the personalities that went along with the plays that I've been offered, I just didn't feel it the same way. And I'm getting a little bit older, and things that were important to me aren't important in the same way. They're still important to me, but not in the same way. And acting is very important to me, and I don't want to, it took me a long time to get out of the habit of doing what was presented to me. And I don't want to continue, I don't want to go back to that. And I don't want to do work because it's available or because I got the role. I want it because it really speaks to who I am and what I am. So back to journaling. So the consistency and what I actually write about kind of caused me to not journal as much, because I didn't know, like, can I skip a day? And then I would skip a day and I'll come back a month later, and it just was inconsistent. And I wanted to do more in kind of writing down my story and my point of view and my thoughts. So this project, 365 days, 365 thoughts. It's the project's title is Manifest. Underline 365 days, 365 thoughts, and it will just chronicle my thoughts and my feelings and my experiences and things that I've been through, things that I'm going through, things that I see other people going through, and I have an opinion or perspective about it. So that's what you'll find if you follow me on Instagram at 365 days, 365 thoughts. It'll pop right up. And eventually it'll be on Facebook, but I want to get a couple months under my belt first before I like expose it in that way, and you'll see the growth eventually. So I'm actually going into the second week, and that's why I'm talking about it a little bit more, because I wanted to at least say, okay, I'm gonna do this. And it's really hard because it's forcing me to be honest in a way that I'm not normally honest, and I actually speak on that in a couple of the clips. And I'm used to being the person that people call on, or people lean on, or people go to, and it hasn't been that way for me in a really long time. And I don't know, it's been difficult trying to come up with what to say, because then I was trying to filter myself. I was trying to like say it perfectly. I was and I guess that's the safety in journaling, saying like a book, because you don't have to worry about anybody seeing it. So whatever you say is what you say. But I wanted to take that feeling and make it public. And that forced me to be real about things that I'm not normally real about. Relationships, thoughts that I had about my childhood. You know, I was always trying to protect somebody. I didn't want my mother to feel like she had did a bad job. I didn't want to, you know, speak on my dad because he's not here to defend himself. I didn't want to speak on my relationships, friendships, romantic relate. I didn't want to speak on other people and put thoughts and perspectives on other people. But it's my story, you know, so I don't have to include them in my story. But because they were there, you know, the focus isn't on them. It's on what I saw, what I felt, what my perspective was, and ultimately what I learned from it, or didn't in some cases. So you'll get to see some of the things. For example, today I wrote about how I learned how to tie a tie. And the story goes into my oh well, you know what, I'll talk about that in the next segment. I actually have a few more moments left in this segment. So back to the journaling. The other reason I stopped writing in a book is because my mother found my journal when I was younger, and it wasn't so much that it was embarrassing, but she found my journal, and she had a friend, and I won't speak her name because she's passed away. And she had a friend, and I did not like this lady. I absolutely didn't like her. I didn't care for her. I felt like her energy was off. I felt like she didn't like me, so the feeling was mutual. But I didn't like this lady, and I spent a lot of my pages on her, and I wrote a lot about her. I won't really talk about her in this series. I don't know if a situation comes up or if a thought pops in my head and she's included in it, she's gonna get discussed. But ultimately, I don't feel like she's gonna be in this series. But I remember writing about her. I remember doing a school project where we had to write a story, and it came from my journal, and my mother found my journal and she was not happy about that. I got into a lot of trouble, and it was more so the language that I used and her not understanding why I didn't like her. My mother used to do that. Like, to this day, there are people who I don't like, and my mother wants an explanation for it. And there often isn't an explanation. I don't dislike people, but for her, she was one of the people that was an exemption, and I did not like her. And it kind of ruined how I talked to my mother, and it ruined how I, are we on break? Oh, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BigExposedRadio.com. I mean, I wish I had a headset. I mean, or a warning.
Check out this flashback from Sunset Soul Radio.
All of us have to take personal accountability.
I can't take responsibility for this.
I didn't say responsibility. I said accountability.
We can't. Everybody can't take accountability.
You're not accountable to the body of Christ?
No, I'm not accountable to this issue.
No, are you accountable to the body of
to
Christ?
the body that God assigns me part of.
The devil is a lie.
So my elbow is not accountable to my kneecap. So my elbow is accountable to my kneecap, or is it accountable to my leg?
So if you on the other side of the world and you see something happening to somebody spiritually, you don't stop.
I can pray for them.
So there's the level of accountability for stuff in the body of
You're not
Christ.
saying that.
That is what I said.
You're not saying that.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
What
did Lisa say? Again,
no. If they would have
you're arguing your point. No listening. This is the problem that we have in the church. We get so busy arguing our points.
To us that God didn't
Nobody's assigning it to y'all. I said we, as a body, all of us, everybody that associate themselves as a disciple to Christ, we have to take a responsibility.
I heard a wise person say this. Y'all might not call him wise, but somebody posted on Facebook, why are we so concerned about the things of the world when the world is not even concerned about the things of the church?
That's not what he said.
No, I'm not talking.
That's not what he said.
You're talking about another brother. I'm addressing what my cousin posted up.
Because
whoever said it, that ain't true. Because you consider the word is right about.
But it sounds very cliche. But like I grew up to believe.
But they're not really concerned about us going to heaven.
But you paint a broad picture again, because like for me, the way I was raised, if somebody on the street needs something or is going through something, you help them.
Sunset Soul Radio, Thursdays from 7 to 9, only on BigExposedRadio.com.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child, and believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org.
Here's what you missed on Salacious Life Radio.
You know, when it comes to your children, especially if you're dating someone that you actually like, you do want it to work. So you're gonna hope and encourage the relationship between your child and that person because you like that person, you know, so you're gonna hope for the best. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work and you can't make it work. You can't force it. It's like a branch. You keep bending it, eventually it'll snap, and even if you put it back together, it'll never be what it once was. But you definitely pray on it. You hope for the...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I was doing a show for an hour every day, and I had to do that for 6 months, and if I stopped, I couldn't do another show for another year and a half.
Yeah, they get you,
and they get you in, and that sponsorship was a killer. But welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. We be switching it up. So I have a surprise guest who wasn't necessarily a surprise, but it's a surprise to her that she's a guest. But can you introduce yourself? Let us know who you are.
Yes, my name is Danette High, and I'm a graphic designer.
And you do websites?
Oh yeah, I build websites. I do any type of graphics, anywhere from billboards to large format printing, step and repeats. Any type of logo design, I mean, name it.
Was that an oops career, or was that always your focus?
It was all planned. I started out at MICA, Maryland Institute College of Art. Actually, let me go back a little further. Walbrook High School.
Okay, Walbrook. What is it, the Bears or the Ducks?
You know what? I don't remember.
Well, I don't even think it's open anymore.
No, it isn't.
I went there for a semester.
Wow.
I went to Catholic schools, and it was like, stop out, let me go, and I went right back, because...
No, I went there for art.
Okay.
So, and I still recall, by the time I got to my senior year, I had won over 40-something competitions.
Cool.
And that got me a scholarship to MICA. So I went to Maryland Institute.
Wow. So you went straight from high school to MICA?
To MICA, and straight from MICA, I got another scholarship to the Art Institute of Chicago.
Cool. And that's a good school. I've heard some good things about them. I was into, like, I wanted to do fashion design at once, and they offered, it was either there or Tampa, and I was like, I don't know. So I chose acting instead.
Well, that's my daughter. She's doing acting. That's what she's doing,
Cool. So tell me about the business side of being a graphic artist, because often what you do is more connected to business. You're more directly connected to business, whereas though just an ordinary painter or illustrator, they're more creatively focused, where they're doing more art installations and stuff. But talk about the business of who you are.
Yeah, well, from a business perspective, I mean, it's exactly that. It's everything that I do is structured, and it's all about going out and doing business to business, customer to customer. I mean, business to customer, however you want to look at it. And from that perspective, everything is structured exactly a way a normal business would. I get up in the morning and I have to be focused on and have a plan in place for that day, and I manage my schedules accordingly. And I have to find time to also go out and get customers, which brought me here. You know,
how did you learn that? Because often in school they teach us a lot about like you have to normally take an economics class, but they don't teach you how to build your artistry as a business. That's what you learn after your first couple $1,000 mistakes.
Well, right out of college, I was able to land a corporate job.
Okay.
So that did it for me. I walked into a Fortune at the time probably 100, but they're probably a 400 to 500 company now. And from that whole structure, I was able to pay attention and to learn and to be able to take what I learned from there and, you know, structure my business.
Part of what, like a lot of the conversations that I have on here, based on mistakes that I made, but it's definitely a challenge learning that way, whereas though you don't quite understand the business side, and we often take 9 to 5s just to pay the bills, but we're not looking at the processes or the kind of the structure that they have and implement that into our own businesses.
Right. I think what I do recall when going in from being in college, I wanted to make extra money. So I think that kind of started actually, I can go way back before that, but by the time I got in college, I wanted to have extra money. So I started doing freelance work while I was going through school. So I think that helped me to understand how the process worked. By the time I got to corporate America, it just sealed the deal. It just really put all the, you know, the T's got crossed and the I's got dotted, because there was parts that were missing, mistakes that had happened. I mean, I remember doing a job and yeah, it cost a couple $1,000 print job. I didn't, you know, I was learning. I was learning about color, and yeah, it cost the extra couple.
And that's when you were freelancing.
That's when I was freelancing.
Oh, so that was an expensive mistake.
In my pockets.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew I had to get insurance.
Okay.
To cover myself.
For those moments.
Yeah. So
is it how much of a transition or stretch was it once you got to the business side, and then you said, well, how long did it take you to say, well, you know, I can do this for myself?
Oh, I always wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I wanted to. My plan was to go work for this company for 5 years. I stayed there for 24 years and 6 months. Wow. That's how good it was, actually. I mean, I really enjoyed the run, but I also was able to do my own stuff as well.
Right.
So it wasn't as if I had to just. I mean, I had the 9 to 5. Then after that, I was able to do my own work.
The moment I said I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I knew jobs. I stopped looking at jobs the same way. They were no longer a job.
Right.
They became benefactors.
Yeah.
To be able to give my dreams a little boost and then still be able to pay the bills. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Miss Danetta. Did I say Danette? We'll return to the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BigExposedRadio.com.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement. Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up! Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
we're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join now.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Okay.
That was like a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because then you have mentors.
Right.
Did I leave my phone in the car? I didn't want my phone to ring on you.
Is it on? I thought you was.
You know what? Because I'm leaning like this, I wasn't even paying attention. That I was right there.
We're back. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live. Only on BeExposedRadio.com. Just a sidebar. On the 24th of this month, Friday, August the 24th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., we'll be having an open house here at Be Exposed Radio. And if you have never been to one of our Be Exposed open houses, definitely come on by. You'll get an opportunity to come on air live and promote your business and network with other business owners, artists, entrepreneurs, community leaders. They all come through. We have some light refreshments. It's normally an entertainer that comes by and raps a little bit, and then some type of cipher starts at some point, or open mic. So it's a little bit of everything. Everybody will find something to be able to take home with them and promote while they're here. So come on out. That's August the 24th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at our new station, 200 East Lexington Street. The information will be on our website this weekend, and we'll have an Eventbrite set up by this afternoon, so I'll be pushing that out and inviting everybody to come on. So come on out. It's an awesome time. But I have Miss Danette here. Danette High. Yes. She's a graphic designer, a web developer, a web designer. Should I say developer?
Both.
So do you get into software and?
Yeah, some HTML. I do some coding and that type of thing as well. So you can code in Wix too, by the way.
So during the break, I let her know I've attempted to build my own website since I started the Artist Exchange a little over 10 years ago. So at that time, you had to know coding. You had to know like all of the back pages of building. And that was just, my mind was hurting. So I said, you know what? Facebook has a page. I started a group on Facebook, and that had been my website for a number of years. And then after maybe year 5, I started seeing people building things that replicated or started from the idea that I had. And I was like, oh. So I started getting business cards, but I still couldn't quite get that website thing. And it just gotten harder. And I've started maybe 30 like different ones. And I've had some horror stories where dealing with individuals that build websites. They'll take your domain, or like and we were talking during the break, they structure your website so only they can change things. And that was, you know, just to keep, like Monty said, just the bankable hours. So they keep you, you know, in their loop. But it's been difficult. And what are some of the horror stories that you get in terms of people coming to you who already tried this? Like, can you do something with this, or can you?
Get that all the time. So actually I just had one before I got here.
And you like, it's like untangling somebody's head that's been locked for years.
They tried, but they said they have no idea what to do with it. They're just really confused.
Anything else creatively, I'm telling you, I can step in and see. I learned engineering, like I can pick stuff up. Web design, when I say it makes me feel like I'm in elementary school all over again. Like the learning curve is steep for me.
Yeah, because I think it has to be also approached. The way I approach my designs for the website design is I actually put on paper first a wireframe. I actually put down each page content in a more of a flow chart. That's what I do. So I have an idea, so I'll know exactly what I need. I'll know exactly where I want to place it, and if I want to move something around, I move it there. On a sketch or on a piece of paper first.
Nothing like paper and pencil.
Yeah, it's either that or I do it on iPad. I do it digitally too. I gotta throw that out there. I mean,
it works. It definitely works.
But at least before I sit down to actually design it, I have not wasted a whole lot of time. At least I have the whole thing figured out in a sense.
Okay.
So now I'm already a step ahead. So when I go to actually get onto the platform and start creating, at least I know what I'm putting in first and what I'm working with, and I have my content, and then maybe a little more creativity will start to come out of that as well.
So so I have. We were supposed to meet today or we are meeting today about building my website. What are some of the things that I would need coming to you and building, from like the most intermediate level where I'm at to the more advanced savvy? I'm looking to just refresh or redesign my website. What are some of the things that I would need to bring to you or be prepared for? Meeting with you?
The one thing that I like to do is I want to be able to tell your story visually through that website.
Okay.
And make it engaging so that your customers will enjoy your story as well as want to find their way through or direct them to certain things. So you're in charge of being able to show or tell the story so that people will want to find what they're looking for. Okay. Or hear your story, or all those different components. But things that I would need would be initially the content. Content in the order of the way that you would like it to flow.
Okay.
Any visuals, photos, those type of things. If you have a logo, we'll definitely need that. And then have an idea of what you want your site to speak to the world.
Okay.
In a sense. If you want to be able to engage customers to book something, or you have events that are coming up, so you want an area of focusing on that. There's normally a lot of touch points that I put on the home page so that it will engage the user to find what they're looking for as well. Let's see, logos, photos, images, and mainly a feel for who you are, what type of business you are.
So what's the start to finish ratio? So we first initially meet to the website being launched. Is it per person or?
Yes. And then what I would do is once we meet, then I'll go back and I'll pull together a contract for the most part that details what I'm proposing, more of a proposal, detailing what I think or what I feel that you would need included in your website, as well as my understanding of what you're trying to say.
Is it easier to start from scratch or with an individual who already had
scratch?
I didn't want to say that, but
yeah,
I figured it would be easier.
It's normally a lot easier to start from scratch.
Because your point of view is from day one,
exactly,
versus trying to unscramble what someone already has.
Yeah, and then it depends on how long you've had it too. You may want a new refresh, from it anyway. You want something new.
In terms of, have you ever had to encourage somebody to change their domain name?
Oh, absolutely. Some of this too long.
Oh, okay. So normally, is it a certain length it should be, or?
Well, you want people to be able to remember it.
Okay.
I mean, if it's something that people can remember, then it flows.
Okay.
But some cases, some people they'll put words in there, they'll throw numbers in with it, and it just makes it like a little
complicated.
Yes, very complicated.
But I've learned, and my biggest regret ever in life, when I first started my business, it was a little over 10 years ago. I went the route of a domain. I was thinking about it, and it was 99 cents. And
that was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
And I was like, I got some time. Let me think about it. The group was kind of like formulating. It wasn't really like we have over 4,500 members now. So I was like, I wasn't doing radio. It was strictly my art. And I was like, I'm gonna wait. Go back 5 years to this year. I go and I said, well, you know what? Let me get the first couple months out of the way. I still hadn't checked it yet. I said, let me get the first couple months out of the way and see if this is what I want. I'm gonna try it out first. By the time Christmas got around, I said, okay, let me look for it. It was $9,000. Well, actually, at that time, it was $10,999 and like some crazy change amount. And I was like, what in the hell?
Yep.
So they put you in contact with like a third party that owns it, and they didn't want to take anything less than $8,000, and I was like, I don't really know if Be Exposed popping like that for me to be able to, you know, come on and pay $8,000 for a domain name that was just 99 cents.
Yep, that's how it works. People would buy them up. They buy them up and resell them. That's what was happening.
And I didn't think about that. Does that happen to a lot of your clients too, where they have a domain, they stuck on it, and they
I've
only
probably
want
had
it?
it happen to a couple of them that just didn't buy it at the time, but they didn't even know they needed to.
Okay.
They just had the idea. They saw it was out there, okay, and they just thought they could come
And
back.
I'm learning certain words, like anything with "the" in it, normally costs a little bit more or already is out there. But is there a difference between .com, .net, .org?
Yeah, .com is more corporations, companies.
Okay.
.com, .net, networking, more along the lines of that. Inc. Well, I think there's a .inc, I believe it is. And what else we have out there?
I learned there was a .exchange.
Yeah, they all have their own meaning. .org, of course, is organization, so that's nonprofits. So they all have kind of a
So it just depends on what type of business you're running
Right.
and what you're looking to bring into your website.
Yeah, and a lot of people want, if they don't get .com, they'll go after the .net because they kind of.
So most people don't, just like in registering a business, there are a lot of things that you don't know. Are you finding yourself kind of training people on like the business side of having a website more?
Oh yeah, I have to in some cases because certain things have to be maintained so that when the next year comes and you have to these things start coming to you for payment, you understand what they are. And
so
why.
It's a yearly payment or is it monthly?
It depends on your choice. That's your choice. It can be a yearly website fee for hosting. Okay, then you have your yearly URL fee for your name. Okay. So, and then if you decide to do custom apps within that website, you're going to have those monthly fees or yearly fees.
And people don't think about it.
No, they don't.
They just look at your fee and like, okay, I got this, and think you go handle all those things. I can say honestly, I made that mistake and didn't realize all the different and I was listening to the person say, well, you should get this and you should get this and you should register this for 5 years and get the extra so when it expires they give you time and can't nobody see you and it just, when I looked at the invoice, I was like, oh my God, all I wanted was a website. I didn't want all these different things, and you pay that amount and it's like, so now what?
Right.
And you feel like this website better be bringing in the business, but you still got to do your business normally.
Exactly.
You just have this platform for people to be able to go to.
Yeah, because I mean, one of those other elements in there is SEO, all that.
Can you explain that to people?
Social optimization. Yeah, it's so that you can get traffic to your site.
Okay.
So that you will be able to show up on Google and all the other search engines.
So when we type in something, the first thing that comes up, there's SEO. What is it called?
SEO.
SEO is they pay for that landing or to be able to get it.
Well, it's really what happens is social engine optimization. I put in the key factors that are searched on through these search engines so that your site will come up.
Okay.
And you want your site to come up in the first page.
Okay.
And majority of sites that I've done, they pop up in the first page.
Now, in your 24 years at the company you were at, is that where you got all of this information, or is it just been trial and error and researching?
Well, a lot of it is exactly that, trial and error. And I've always been a very techie person as well as creative.
Okay.
So in some cases, I'm wondering if I should have even gotten more into the engineering side of it, because I have always been able to break things down and figure out how to put them back together.
Okay.
So
that's why I'm shocked at my creativity, because I can do that.
Right.
But when it comes to this, it's like you speaking a whole nother language to me.
Because it's not on paper, probably. Because it's something that's virtual.
And you can't do it with your hands.
You can't just hold it, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
That's probably what it is, because I can step into any platform and just learn. And can't. Like, I've never been a recipe person. Normally, I can look at you do it or just see the elements and be like, oh, I can do that. Like, I just made bread pudding yesterday for the first time. And she gave me some Betty Crocker. I was like, I'm not doing that. So I just, what flavors I would like, I just incorporated that in what we had and was able to do it. But this, I put my hands down to you. Like, it takes a genius in my book to be able to do this. How has the digital age affected your learning curve? Because now things was like, okay, and then I think maybe like 5 years ago, stuff just jumped so far ahead.
Well, that was my whole decision on going to grad school.
Okay.
Because when I was an undergrad, when the Mac, I think by the time I had just graduated, the Macintosh hit the scene.
Oh, okay.
And at that point, I said the only way that I'm going to be able to learn this is if I go to graduate school. Because if I go start working now,
so you saw that happen?
Oh yeah, I saw that happen. I saw it.
Wow.
So I said, I'm going to go ahead and try for grad school. And when everything worked out for me to get a full scholarship, I couldn't say no.
So you were innovative when you were learning, because it had to take a little bit of innovation and understanding. Like, you own the latest software.
Everything, all the time. Even before they came along, I had the latest publication of whatever, whether it was fashion, whether it was technology, whatever. I was reading. So I was seeing stuff.
My friends joke me because I still have AOL. Like, my email is still AOL.
What's AOL? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Couldn't resist.
I'm just saying, like, because it has never changed. And I haven't gotten any spyware. I haven't gotten any like anything in that. Whereas though Gmail, I just feel like they know my social security number.
Love Gmail.
But I've jumped ahead, especially since having a show. I've had to keep up with how things look and learning. I'm still learning, and there's still a lot to learn. But I was never really, I still had AOL. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I was still paying for AOL way when certain people got it. Remember, they gave you the disc, and because it was your internet at one time.
I never had AOL.
So you.
Ever.
She making me look bad.
I'm sorry.
But I still have it. But are there still things, I said that to say, are there still things that are timeless? Certain processes, certain ways of what you do that just won't change?
That I have to think, because majority of things I do, I've changed.
Okay.
I've to be able to be competitive, to be able to,
the turnaround time. Okay.
And then majority of things have changed.
But now that I know my AOL account is, and I've had that email address since I was 14. I've had the same one, the same AOL. I've actually opened up other AOL accounts.
You can still keep it. You'd always forward it to Gmail.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, that's why you have me here, right?
But so how many people like me do you meet? And how difficult is that working with somebody who's still got a... When I give my AOL, like at the department stores, they look at me strange. Especially if they're a certain age, they be like, what is AOL? Like, what is that?
Yeah, this is Gmail. Looking at you, it doesn't seem like you should still be using AOL, so...
I've always had it. Nathan Cowles at AOL.com. Does me well.
Yeah, I do get quite a few people that way. I guess I'm just used to... I've learned how to give them what they need and help to educate them as well. Maybe
so do you teach too?
Well, I'm a teacher by nature, I think.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. I'm learning. This meeting is going to be definitely, I'm going to be intelligent when I leave it. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange radio show, only on BigExposedRadio.com.
I think I've always just been a teacher by nature.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy me. So, anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew. Wait, Mom, what?
What? Hold
What'd
on.
you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty about Jennifer Holliday.
Anyway, let's get back to
Yeah, well, what I wanted to say is that I can understand 100% where Jennifer Holliday is coming from, and that's sort of kind of where my 20% came from. When I basically came out and said who I voted for, I received a lot of backlash. Even on my own talk show, which comes on every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m., I was called a coon. Okay, yeah, shout out for the plug. But yeah, someone actually, you know, they told CJ Bernie that I was a coon, and that really hurt me. I've been called everything from a fat whatever and everything, but someone actually commented on his Facebook
I didn't even say that. That's kind of
called me a coon, but it's
coon?
like I like you. It's crazy because I just feel like someone like Jennifer Holliday. I understand why she stepped down, but I'm kind of upset with her because I think she still should have performed. You know, if you're going to jump out there, then stand in your truth. Don't let no one stop you or change your mind about anything. And listen, no one put a gun to her head and made her sign on for that. But it just seems like, you know, she was basically, she was bullied.
But see, the thing about it is they will put a gun to her head to not do it.
I don't think so.
Well, that's what the threat says. You got to tell. It's why it's called a threat. You don't know the hypotheticals in there that could happen to you.
Why do you think
she's not a well-known singer? So she's not going around with security. Since she goes to get her tracks at the mall,
right?
Pow!
Right, but at the same time,
now we got a whole bunch of dead cats.
Yeah, but like what she said in the footage, you know, today on The View was basically it's not white people who was threatening her. It was us who was threatening her.
Right. Where do you think she live? I think she live in Atlanta.
Exactly.
They gonna get her at the Ku Klux Klan mall and drag her by her hair. Her hair made a cat. She got the new weave.
I don't have Jennifer Holliday money, honey. I don't know what it might be because it's. I don't got Jennifer Holliday money, but me personally, I feel as though, you know, like I said, once I kind of came out, and even being on this show, because I'm pretty sure the headline says Trump supporter, I'm putting a lot of myself out there. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
By Demand Radio Show.
2 years ago. If you broke that bike and it don't work, that's on you, brother. I suggest you get that toolkit out back and then start working with it, right? Yeah. So my son's looking at me like, wow. And I broke down to him how we had got fixing flat tires down to a science. Mm-hmm. You understand what I mean? Sticking the tube in the water. Right? Talk to me, brother. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, critical thinking. And seeing, we look at that now and like kids, they not as...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
And somebody else has started it, but it just didn't look right to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm into this whole crisp white look.
Yeah.
And she made it dark, and I was like, I don't want this, because it make me feel depressed looking at it.
Right.
But I tried to like do things, and I said, you know what? And I think like a little bubble came up. It's like, you can get an expert to help you, and I was like,
oh yeah, I remember they added that.
Write this on there, and I was like, I'm frustrated. I can't do this. I'm gonna have to just get an extra job to be able to pay for this, because I can't. It was just making my head hurt. Like, I'm really trying to do it, and maybe because it's the business side of it, trying to figure that out in terms of what I want on there.
Right, because that's part of it, because you're doing the whole thing.
Yeah, because I wanted everything on the front page. Like, I need all of this. I need a little bit of everything that I want on the front page, because it used to be, they used to, whenever somebody would, well, welcome back to the Arts Exchange Radio Show. I need these type of conversations because as an artist, especially one who went to a black school, a lot of our resources were limited. So we often have to do a lot of things ourselves. So you wear all the hats of the company, and I'm loving how now you can outsource. When I discovered Fiverr, I thought life was just oh wow, where has this been? Like, I love it.
List of them.
How are you loving, or do you appreciate the apps where so you can outsource things or certain things that would have taken you extra time, you can focus now? Are you into the apps? Or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I use the apps whenever I definitely when they're a good fit for what I'm doing.
Do you build apps?
I'm working on that now. That's something I'm actually teaching myself. I believe I should be able to have something out real soon.
Is it a difference between an app and a website?
Yes.
So what's the biggest difference for somebody who doesn't know?
Well, the app itself, the apps that I'm talking about are apps that are in support of the website.
Okay.
So, like, for example, if you go on a website and you see, let me think, when you embed, well, Facebook, of course, is an app when it's embedded into a site.
Right.
But I'm trying to give you another example. If you see some type of functionality, like some music functionality, a lot of times those are additional apps that are built within or added into your website, so you have that functionality.
But sometimes, so I know, and I'm not gonna keep yelling Wix out because they ain't paying me to keep saying their names, but with some of these, when you're building a website,
drag and drop,
because people now are on their mobile, it doesn't always translate to the mobile easily.
Right, but now
I think it's called interface or
it's called responsive design.
Okay.
So basically, everything I build, it responds to the device that it's on.
Okay.
So if it's a tablet, it's going to adhere to, it's going to adjust to that size. So that's responsive design is what that's called.
And that allows us to be able to, no matter what, whether you got Android or tablet,
I have to test them all.
Okay.
I test them all before I push the site out to make sure that it works on all devices.
So is there anything different that you would have to do to make it compatible for Android versus iPhone versus a tablet, or?
Not if you're using those type of sites that are drag and drop.
Oh, okay. So
now,
then that's
when
it's a problem.
Myself, I would just build it in separately because I can build them in Adobe software, and Adobe Muse, and there's a couple other software packages that I use.
That she won't tell you because you gotta come.
Then I build it so that it is responsive, but it's still a simple process to do it now, as opposed to before. But you have some of the other platforms, they have that capability, but I think what happens is they build your site in the standard, or you have it built in the standard way,
or from one of the templates,
right? Or you use a template, but you may have to go in somewhere and check something that says make this site responsive.
Oh,
and I think a lot of people miss that. And in some cases, some people don't do it because it is going to totally screw up the site, and you have to go back in, and it's almost like building two sites. So basically, what happens is when I build the site for the website, that website template easily adjusts to the template for the tablet.
Oh, okay.
Then I have to go into the mobile and rebuild that again to make it flow and make sense in a mobile version.
Just so because I often, like even here, certain phone companies or certain phone styles don't pick up our website or and I notice like Facebook is going through so many different updates. It's almost like a weekly, sometimes daily thing that you'll get. So how often would somebody have to update those elements or those, you said?
They don't have to. When you use a drag and drop, that's the advantage of them.
It automatically
It will automatically make those adjustments, and if it doesn't, you will be notified. But majority of the time, it automatically makes those adjustments for you.
What are some of the misconceptions that an individual like myself who needs your service would have coming to you? Like maybe the top 2 or 3 that you would find, or that's the most prevalent.
I'm thinking. Well, I think everybody thinks you have a website is extremely expensive. And maybe because I build them, I don't think in some
Hold
cases,
on, we're gonna get back to that when we come back. We're gonna take another quick break. We'll be back with Mr. Nat.
Yes.
When we return to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I think with the pricing,
check out this flashback from the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
So you're your biggest asset. You have to practice self-care. Every entrepreneur has to practice self-care. You have to release yourself from toxic situations
Explain to us real quick, what is a toxic situation?
A toxic situation is something that will control your mind, something that hurts you, something that you have to battle. Toxic, hurt. If you're in a toxic situation, if you get hurt, if you get pain, if you get struggle, right? And if your spirit does not align correctly, that may be a toxic situation. So when I say you make that jump when your values don't align, you make decisions based on your values. And if those decisions don't align with your values, then that's when you say no.
Tune into the Artist Exchange every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. live on BigExposedRadio.com.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's the jump off. Welcome to the Cheryl Underwood Show. Hot topics. We discussing anything. It's a go. We going live now. Got a favorite song? Call into the show. Is he ready? Yeah. 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
That's what I'm talking about, Cheryl Underwood. We're ready. Yeah.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I feel no. Wow. Yeah, people are just gouging. That's for sure.
And I say that to people like yourself that come to me because I represent the individual who has tried every way that's possible, and you see what's out there, and that's why I focus on the business side of what I do now, because that means you're going to keep your customers, they're going to be satisfied, you're going to get more customers, more repeat customers, and they're not going to necessarily feel like you're getting over with them.
Yeah, you should be partnering this. It's like you're partnering together to work on something that,
So before we went to the break, I asked you, what are some of the misconceptions? And you said the pricing being number one.
Yeah, I just think most people think you have to spend a whole lot of money to have a website.
And what are some of the alternatives? Say if you only have a certain amount of money, say you got a budget of say $500, what could that $500 get them where so they feel comfortable and satisfied at that level?
Right. It would get them a full, at least a full page landing page with probably about 2 or 3 maybe other pages to go with it. So that covers your.
That means if you click on it, it goes to another.
Yeah, it goes to another page. Yeah. And that means that will give you at least enough content to start your story. If not, in some cases, complete it. I probably didn't mention this before. I also do photography.
Okay.
So I'm really good with color. I'm really good with taking certain photos and making them look great, even though they may not always look that well. And I can also include that as part of the package.
At what point did you pick up the photography?
Oh, it was a requirement in undergraduate.
Oh, okay.
You had to learn photography.
Oh, cool.
And I just kept doing it after that.
So you manually know how to...
Oh yeah, that basic black and white Pentax camera. Started there, yes. And then I ended up, while I was at MICA, I worked at the Baltimore Sun paper.
Okay.
For the fashion section and a few other sections, so I had even more experience with that.
I just mentioned to a young photographer, a student that I had, about the filters, and because they didn't learn the manual way of exposing photos, they didn't understand that those filters were mistakes at one point that we've turned into kind of decoration.
It's creative, as another dimension now.
So do you still use the darkroom, or everything is digital?
Yeah, everything's digital.
But if you had to, you knew how to do it.
Yeah, if I had to, yeah. I don't want to go back there though. I mean, I love the whole digital. I mean, I do wonderful photography even on my iPhone. I mean, I love it.
I went to Coppin and I studied under Professor Day Clark, and it was either digital or you had to do, I forgot the other way that they call it, but it was digital or I'm gonna call it manual. And I was kind of grappling, but when I realized how much that manual camera cost, I was like, oh, I'm gonna just use this nice Sony digital camera that I have. In terms of just how much equipment has advanced, like how do you stay up on top of that? I mean, outside of reading, of course.
And YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
YouTube. I will go on YouTube in a heartbeat.
So it's beneficial. YouTube is actually beneficial.
Oh, absolutely. Love it.
Because some people, and I know for me, I don't think that you are necessary, but the difference between you and somebody who just picked up a camera is you went to school and learned it.
Right, so I have some basics, some structure, foundation.
Right, so if something goes wrong, you know kind of the backs, opposed to just going to
Google.
YouTube.
I know what to go search for.
Okay.
I have to try to find how to
How expensive is it to keep up with the latest, greatest?
It is so hard. It's very expensive.
So soon as something comes out, are you on it, or do you wait for like phase 2, phase 3?
Yeah, it all depends on what it is. Normally, I used to go out and get it at one point. Then I said, okay, I'm in business. I can't just go out and get it.
I got a family at home.
Yeah, I mean, reality. So, but I have to know about it. I like to know about it and then do my research just to find out if it's something that's worthwhile. And
it's probably based off of something you were already using, so you kind of know where it already is and if it's worth going up or down.
Exactly.
In terms of updating or upgrading a website, so say they already come to you, but their budget was limited, but now they've made a couple more dollars based off being able to have that website. How easy or hard is it to upgrade, or is
it's pretty simple. You know, you mean when you say upgrade, you mean it's refresh?
Refresh or redesign or kind of add to, expand it?
Yeah, that's pretty simple to do. And that can be done based on how many hours you want me to spend on doing X, Y, Z.
Okay.
So you say, okay, I want to spend 100 hours. What can you do with that?
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, you know, or I need these particular items added to the site. How much will that cost?
So because you started in the corporate world, of this part of your business, how were you with pricing? Because somebody come like, I got $50, can I get a website?
Well, I think we touched this a little bit earlier. I do kind of separate the small business owner, middle, and large corporations. Okay. Because it's only fair. Because what I may do for a large corporation is going to be a lot more involved than what I do for a small business owner. So that price structure is different. So I have 3 areas, and that's it: small, medium, large business owners. To determine what works best for you.
And you said you were opening yourself up to doing apps now. How hard has that been to learn that, being as though it's already been a couple years into it, or have you been following it the whole time?
It's been a little tough for me to learn. It's more, not even learn, it's time. It's been just for me to dedicate the time to do it.
What's the difference in building, on the building side?
Just the software that you're using.
Oh, so it's totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they've come out with some great, actually, Adobe has come out with some great software for it now, so.
But it's just learning that software.
Learning that software, yeah.
How often do they update it on your side?
There's always updates happening, but they're good updates because they're enhancing and helping you get something done a lot faster.
Okay.
So that's why I love it. That's why I was talking about when I was saying doing the sketches by hand as opposed to sketches on iPad. They have a package out there called Sketch, and I can just take that thing and sketch away. Whereas, and just keep going. Whereas you turn the paper and you try to I need to add this to it. How do I get this page? And then you trace over top of it. I did it right there on that iPad.
Has YouTube allowed you the ability to go back to school without physically having to enroll?
That's how I feel to a degree with YouTube, but then I also, because I use the higher end software that comes with tutorials.
She just dropping a little knowledge on you.
It comes with the tutorials. So I realized that's a perk. You pay that extra money for the software, but you do have all those other perks. Plus, sometimes they utilize me as some of their beta testing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, which is great because then I'll know something way before it hits.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned the importance of going to YouTube from working here at the station. I'll watch Monty learn a new software, and he'll go to YouTube, and it makes it so easy. You can learn anything. I learned how to crochet on YouTube. I've learned how to just do anything. What other interests do you have outside of digital designing and technology, of course?
I mean, I paint, draw, the whole thing. I've always done that.
But that's how you started, though.
Right. It started, I'll tell you this quick story. I think I was in kindergarten, first grade. I used to draw pictures, cartoons, sit in front of the TV and draw, whatever cartoon was on.
Okay.
Take them to school, take the pictures to school and sell them. I always came home with pocket change. I always said, so that, I mean, I was thinking from an entrepreneur at that age and didn't realize it at the time.
So it was already in you then at that point, because normally you have to learn that. And I'll be honest with myself, I was around a lot of creative hustlers in that way, but I never took any of that. I just took the creative side, and the hustle part was something that has been the most challenging. I'm 35 now, and it's been the last 5 years that business or the business of art has really taken advantage, because I know thousands of pair of my earrings, but I never I could tell you who bought the very first pair, the 100th pair. I could tell you those things, but in terms of this structuring the cost of them, like figuring the time that you just talking about man hours, so figuring the man hours, the materials, all those things that go into it. I never thought that, but I come from the restaurant business where every plate is priced. So they know down to the plate how much things are costing. And people don't understand the markup system, but every plate is priced, from the amount of season that goes in it to everything, every piece of meat or protein or everything is. That's why they don't give you extra sauces, because that wasn't included. Right, exactly, because it wasn't included. So I learned those things, but it wasn't until recently I started to actually apply them, because it was hard for me to price, like to put a price on something. One, because I felt like it was beyond a value on this thing that I created, but outside of that, I didn't know how to price things, and I wanted them to be gone. I didn't want to have to lug all of this stuff back home, but I wanted it gone. But you have to learn how to set your prices. So how, even though you cater to the small startup versus and all the way up to the corporate, pricing is very important still, because you can't do this for free because this business is small. But how do you set your prices and stay strong on them?
Well, I set them so that I have an hourly rate that I would take across the board if I had to. Okay. So I know that's there. But then I base it on, once I get a feel for what that project is, it helps me I know how long it takes me to do things. Okay. I mean, now I've gotten really fast at things, whereas when I started out, I was pretty slow. So now that I know what I'm doing, if you say you need X, Y, Z, boom, I'll say, okay, well, that's going to probably take about 10 hours. Okay. So I feel like if it's going to take me about 10 hours and I charge you $500 for it, then I've made a profit out of it. Now, the average person may take 50 hours to do it, but I can do it in 10.
So that goes into, you understand that goes into your pricing as well. So in terms of, it just jumped out of my head, in terms of kind of gauging what is needed, how do you take on like multiple projects and still be able to meet your deadlines?
That's where a lot of organization comes in. Okay. You got to pull out the spreadsheet.
So you're working on multiple projects.
Yes, a project. Yeah. Well, that's one thing I did do at the other company. I did do some project management. Okay. So you have to be able to manage each of these projects and make them all, they still end up having to have certain commonalities among them. And you find all those components, and some of that you can do all at the same time across the board. Okay. Whereas other pieces are individual for that.
You got to spend that amount of time on it.
So that's where a lot of my time will come just sitting down. Once I get everything from you about the website, then, like I said, I sit down and I will do wireframes. I will sit down and I will do flow charts to start with, to get an idea of what is being said, where that where it's being said on that website.
So
and what's needed to make it happen.
Speaking to maybe that young artist or that young entrepreneur that maybe working at McDonald's right now, or got a nice little office job, or they're working a job outside of what their goals are. Can you speak to them and how important it is to compartmentalize some of the processes that you learn on a regular 9 to 5? Even though your job was kind of in line with what you want, what you're doing, but even that, how important is it to find a job in line with what you want? It may not be directly where you're going, but
that's what I would recommend. Because once I'm from the artist, from just growing up drawing pictures, I knew that I wanted to do something creative. So every decision and thought and job and everything related to that I went after.
Opposed to just getting something to get by and...
No, I mean, if I had to do that, I just happened to go by. I believe in intentionality, and I believe that you can really create what you want out of your life if you just really put into it what you want.
Manifest. See?
Yes.
Manifest.
Exactly. So because I believe that, that's what I live, eat, sleep, drink, whatever. I kept that in front of me. That was important to me. So I did a vision board. I had it in my face 24/7. And I was able to keep checking things off because that's what I knew that I was for me, and that's what I wanted to do.
Are you updating that vision board?
Yeah, I just did it the other day.
So how important has that been to the success of your business?
My life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because it keeps it in your face as a reminder, and it also keeps you dreaming. It keeps you pushing yourself.
So that's a good way to transition. So we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. I really appreciate it.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we're getting that 6 seconds from Heal That News. You can use that word on the street from our favorite country lawyer, better known as Judge Harry Sutherland. If you'd like to weigh in on anything you've heard, give us a call, 1-855-SHERYL1, or email us at SherylUnderwoodRadio.com. We're talking about the Manafort trial, the Mueller investigation, and the fact that Rudy Giuliani is running around going, collusion is not a crime. But he don't finish the sentence with, but obstruction is. Harry Sutherland, what is going on? Do they have President Trump? Is he cornered?
They have him cornered now, and basically when Michael Cohen came out with these recorded tapes and basically began to talk to the public and CNN about what he had on Donald Trump and the fact that he heard the conversation with Donald Trump Jr. and his father. So I believe that they got him cornered now, and this was the piece that Robert Mueller was missing, that he needed someone, an eyewitness to actually be a part of the conversation.
Corroborate.
Absolutely.
That's all now if Manafort cracks, right? We're waiting for him to crack. If Mueller
I don't think they need Manafort anymore.
I don't think they need him anymore.
I don't think they need him anymore. You know, Jim, this is what I think, and this is me and you Republican talking. Remember how they got our president, Richard Nixon?
That's right.
They followed the money, and then people start caving.
Right.
Right. So that's all they did was follow the money. The girl that was trying to weasel her way, the Russian girl that was trying to weasel her way into the NRA. So they got her. Really what it looks like is, I think that they were enticed by Russian money and to invest Russian money into American companies. Right. And then the Russians said, well, we'll dangle this money in their face, and then we'll put some clown in the White House. So then America won't be strong enough to stop us, because by then it'd be too late. Jim, you say what?
Well, so the Cohen thing, it all goes back to the Stormy Daniels and the other girl, right? And that's what they're going to connect to the Russian stuff, right?
Yeah, and he recorded them. But he was also a witness to, a witness to Donald Trump Jr. telling his daddy that they going to meet with the Russians to get some dirt on opposition. That's right. So is that what is that?
Along with a famous email that Trump Jr. sent or whatever from the Russian I got you.
So is Harry, is it that Cohen is the witness to Donald Trump Jr. telling his daddy that the meeting that he don't say he know about, he say he don't know about, he knew about.
He knew about it.
He's the witness.
And the whole time, every time we were looking at Paul Manafort to actually be the one that was going to crack, but it ended up being Michael Cohen,
who was kind of surprising everybody by the way he's talking, really, to be honest.
And he's cracking because of something that Harry Sutherland is going to talk about on the other side of the break. Money, 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 money. Hey. Money. We might need to play that on the side of the break. We'll be right back. More Cheryl Underwood Radio.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Place to go, like, and it's very little people who make their own stuff now.
Wow.
I'm gonna sell you the supplies that you need,
and you can do it yourself.
Right. So just the average person that will go on Etsy, it's like that's too much. I don't want this no more because there's too many suppliers on there. Or they'll start trying to make their own stuff, and then eventually they'll come to you like, "Well, can you fix this? Because I tried to do it myself." But during the break, I was asking you just about the process. But in addition to what you're doing now, your artwork, are you putting it out there, or is it just to ease you or comfort you?
Well, some of my artwork, I did fail to mention one other thing that I do along with my daughter. My daughter has a t-shirt business.
Cool.
One
of the hardest businesses to run.
Yeah.
That overhead is a lot.
So I help her with creating her vision because she doesn't have. She's an actor. So, and I'm more of the artist. She has some creativity when it comes down to that. Well, she's very creative, but as far as
not on the visuals, okay.
Yeah, to actually execute it, that's where I'm perfected. I've perfected that. So, and
the digital design.
Yeah, I do it all on computer. Yeah. Okay. I mean, not all of. Sometimes I'll actually draw it, but now, I draw it on an iPad. I mean, I guess it all is digital at this point.
For the small business owner that is starting up, like your daughter, is there? So give me a package deal for the software, computer, so I could at least start the business. Or do you have an idea of like a good starter product, like a laptop, camera combination that'll help me as like a startup business? I don't have a lot of money. My talents is a little bit, but I know how to read. I know how to go to YouTube, but just to start up.
I will have to think about that because I'm always using the higher end.
She hasn't been down here in a while.
No, I don't mean it like that, but because of what I do, I have to have the
state of the art.
I have to have something that's going to actually stand the test of time and give me what I need to even be able to run the software that I run. Okay. And do the things that I do. Yeah.
Do you do repairs too? Have you learned how to repair those products? Because I know that can be pricey.
Not anymore. Used to, but not anymore. I really don't have too many issues with them. I mean, they're making them a lot better these days. And
that whole saying is you get what you pay for. So if you buy the best, then you'll get the best out of it.
My computers have lasted. Most of the time they say buy a new one in 3 years.
Okay.
We still have a computer in the house that's a 2009, I think. It's still.
And that's unheard of. That's something will go wrong, but. I've learned how to do that now. Like my last laptop, I just said to myself, I have to buy something of quality now because I can't keep on replacing it when it's little stuff. It's like when the phones used to, the charger port or something. Like,
go break.
Are you noticing those type of equipments being mass produced more too, or?
Yeah, they are. And in some cases, I think there are a lot of.
So how would the average person be able to pick something of quality if it's like for you it's been trial and error and you just learned over the years? But
yeah, I mean sometimes majority of the time I hate to put it it's a little higher than it's probably more in the middle, not necessarily the highest, but it's kind of in the middle. I normally find the middle, and then I have just certain companies that I'm used to using.
So is it a brand name? Does a brand name always mean quality?
Not necessarily, but I think it depends on the item.
Okay.
Like with some of the Apple computers. I mean, I really believe that a lot of their accessories. I prefer the Mac version of those accessories. I've always had them. You just have to treat them nicely.
Oh, okay.
You can't just like roll it up and tie it and let it drag on the floor. You really have to take the time, you know.
I was about to show you my charger, but I might not have to do that.
And wrap it up and put it back in its place if it's not using. You just have to handle it differently.
Okay. So you would prefer the iPhone products or the Apple products over Android?
Yes.
And it's just quality.
Well, it's just a preference because I grew up with apples. I've grown up. That's what I've always because of my industry.
Right.
The industry determined that Apple computers were the best for graphic designers.
And that kind of like the architects and those individuals used that the most before we actually started, like the average public started to really use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've always had the professional equipment because that's the timing. I was older, and by the time I got to college, they were coming out. So by the time I hit the real world, that's all I've known. Whereas, you know, later on in life, some of these other things came along.
So is it necessary to always buy the newest, or are there upgrades to kind of compensate?
Yeah, you kind of I figured out certain things along the way. Like if I want to, like the hard drive, if I want more hard drive space, I'd buy terabyte drives and connect them. Or,
and that's the external?
Yep, I buy the external drives and I use those, and I've been able to set them up through whether it's Files or Xfinity or whoever. Set up a server right off of that network and be able to back everything up on a daily basis.
How much extra knowledge have you had to gain over the years to kind of supplement what it is that you're doing? Because you're talking technology, engineering, it's all these extra things that the average graphic designer wouldn't think they need to know, you know, to do their best job.
No, and you're right, and I have gotten to have a lot more knowledge because I run into a situation and I need to have a solution, and that's the way I've always been the type of person that I'm a problem solver. So I say, hey, if I have a problem, then how do I find a solution? And a lot of those solutions take me to those other out of the way areas that I didn't have any expertise in, but I found someone that did, and then I paid attention. And
how have you been able to how do I ask or have you been able to delve into your artist side in terms of like displaying your work, putting it on like a museum or installation? Have you been able to do that yet?
No, because I feel like I display it through creating logos, creating other illustrations or whatever for others.
The T-shirt design, stuff like that.
And yeah, if I have a message that I want to put out, I'll talk to my daughter.
So you don't have that urge to do it as of yet, or?
I do. I'm actually in the middle of a couple of things that I want to talk about. Some desire to do. Yeah, a couple ideas that I want to take on the Shark Tank.
Oh, okay. You heard it first here. I'm gonna play this back when she get that deal. Like she said it here first.
Yeah.
But in terms of, so how do you feed that artist side of you? Like I know you still do all those things, but what's your go-to kind of debriefing of, if you will, or?
I have these foam core sheets. Okay, and they're about 12 inches by 20, and I have a stack of them. I have a Sharpie, I have a fat Sharpie and a thin Sharpie. Like tonight, when I go home, I'll just sit there and I'll sketch, and I'll date it.
Wow.
And I always put my date upside down, and then I'll sketch, and it just comes into this big, each one I fill up, and I'll go to the next one. And if I want a color Sharpie, I can get a red one, but I'll just draw.
Wow. So let's go take a break. We got a couple more minutes left in the show. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back only on the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BigExposedRadio.com.
Yeah, so that's my downtime.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer, because we got you working day and night. Hey, go ahead.
Wow.
Is that the Jacksons or is that Michael Jackson?
That's Michael. That's Michael Wall. Off the wall, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Jam right there.
Day and night.
Yeah, man. Uh-oh.
No, that's right.
Wait a minute, Harry Sutherland. Harry Sutherland.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see what Courtney is pulling out of the box?
No, what she got there? What is
I
that?
hope it's a Louis Vuitton bag.
Look like it.
Uh-oh.
Louis.
Is it Louis Vuitton bag?
White Louis.
Is it real?
Oh.
Courtney done melted.
Not getting man.
Courtney got to the mirror. She's
She's trying though.
I don't know if this.
Why is she crying? It's not her bag.
She done fell on the ground.
It's Cheryl's bag. It's Cheryl's bag.
I'm with you. Just get to hold
This is
her.
a Harry.
This is not a call to action. I'm just telling you, I got it off eBay.
It's a $3,000 bag right there.
Yeah,
Listen, man.
I'm with Harry. Harry said it ain't your bag.
It ain't your bag.
Hey, speaking of working day and night, so the Manafort trial is happening. Oh, they met your shoes, Courtney.
Oh, you met your shoes.
So the Manafort trial is happening.
That's correct.
So, Harry, is it that they got a case because they've been working day and night? Mueller got a case against President Trump.
Mueller is the man. Let me tell you. I know Jim don't really like him, Cheryl, but he's been working day and night, and now he's the trial against Paul Manafort has just kicked off, and man, they got him for money laundering as well as some other financial crimes. But the thing is, he is not the big fish. He's the little fish. The big fish is our president, and they're trying to get a collusion case and an obstruction of justice case against our president.
So the collusion led to the obstruction.
Absolutely.
But they're also getting the fact that what's his name? Cohen?
Michael Cohen, that's right.
Is going to talk about the fact that he knew about the Russian meeting.
Everything is coming together now for Robert Mueller.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to continue this discussion because I want to hear Jim's opinion of this. I think they're building a case, and Rudy Giuliani need to stop talking. We'll be right back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Go ahead and play that OJ's for Harry Sutherland. Because we're breaking down the whole situation with President Trump, Manafort, Cohen, Mueller, everybody. But only time somebody gonna snitch on you when you ain't paying them no money and you ain't backing up their legal fees. Am I right, Harry Sutherland?
Absolutely right. When you take the money away, then things begin to change.
Absolutely. So Jim, you think Cohen flipped because he wasn't getting that financial support?
Yeah, that's usually the like you said, that's usually the cause for it. Maybe Trump is so prickly with some of the stuff. Maybe he thinks name recognition gets him a lot of business, and that's the way he's getting paid. But people want that paper.
Well, I think that what's going to end up happening, and Courtney, thank you.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
And we're back with more Cheryl
Radio show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. We were talking a little bit about what she does outside of her web design and graphic design and photography, but you do logos as well.
Oh yes.
So what goes into making a great logo?
Well, a very clear understanding of the message, of course, that you're trying to say, for one. And just really dive into, I guess, the message you want to say, how you want to make people feel, and then visually simple, and speak whatever that main keyword is that you're trying to say.
So in terms of coloring, how do you choose colors and boldness or lack of?
Right. I mean, a lot of colors, they have different meanings. So that's like a start. Normally I would send someone a list that shows them what, yellow means, red, whatever the meanings are behind those colors, which then they can connect with their business, because then it brings back to what they mainly want to talk about. And then just colors that are related to culture or, wherever state you're in. It all depends, or country, whatever. It depends. And then once we've selected those colors, I normally start out with black and white. Okay. You always should create a logo in black and white first. Because if it works in black and white, it's going to work in color. Okay. Sometimes you can create a logo in color, and it may never work in black and white. But there's always going to be some reason that you may one day have to use it in black and white.
And you can build on it versus trying to take a part away.
Right, yeah.
Now, is that the hardest part that you find in dealing with customers, the logo portion?
Initially, but lately it hasn't been, and I think for me that's just maturity. Just I've been doing it for so long now that I can kind of capture.
Do people normally know what they want, or is it like just build me something?
I get a little bit of both. Some people come knowing what they want, but then by the time they leave, they realize they really didn't know what they wanted, and I gave them what they wanted. Okay. Because I go through this creative brief process where I break things down and ask them a lot of questions so that I can determine my perspective on what I think.
In terms of what you've seen out there, what are some of the mistakes that people make in choosing a logo?
Some of them get too complicated. I mean, I know you got different types of logos. You got pictorial logos. You got just letter form logos. There's several different types of logos. But I think some people just think they can put all these images together and that's creating a logo. And a lot of times it is.
Well, a lot of these apps make you think that you
can just go do that. I know.
And they don't think about it. And I remember from how like the logo and stuff of my show looked from the very beginning versus now. I don't think I'm there yet, but it just I tried so many different apps, and I used to think, oh, I got this, I can do this, and it just didn't look right. It just didn't look well. A lot of the apps make your job easier, but a lot of the apps, they're only supposed to be introductory. You shouldn't think this is it.
Well, a lot of apps will make it easier, but you have to know what apps are going to work to make it easier for you.
And you can't just look at the little score that they got.
Right. I mean, somebody makes it, that app may work really well for someone, and I could take that same app and it doesn't work for me.
Right.
And it's all, and I think things are also based on how you operate. We're creative,
right?
But everybody's not.
Yeah.
So I think that's all part of it. So if somebody who is creative isn't, they go after the same app, those results are gonna be totally different.
Because I've just gotten savvy, and it forced me to get a better phone. I was the person, when I got a phone, I always got the free phone. And I just, if it naturally upgraded to something nice, then that's it. But whenever I went to a new company, I got the free phone, and that was it. So it was basic. But now I'm learning how important your phone is, because most things are done on the phone. Yep. But I've learned you can have about 5 or 6 apps. This app does that app does that, and you mix them, and it gives you the best quality. Yeah. But a lot of the apps don't really size or give you the resolution.
Right, and that's intentional because they want you to pay more for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them will charge you when it gets to that resolution part. Yeah. Yeah, and that's intentional. That's how they make their money.
Is there anything that, so somebody's starting out, so they don't have a website, they don't have a logo, what are some of the things that they should be thinking about before they just start paying people to do stuff?
They need to pull together a mission, vision statement, some type of plan for their business so that they can have an idea of what they want and need.
Okay.
And from that point, then when they do go out to go after to have money to go purchase things, at least they have an idea, or money to get services for certain things. They have an idea of they kind of know what they want, or know enough about their business that they can share on it and get what they want from whoever they're going after for that particular service.
Have you had to say no?
Oh yeah.
I can't do this.
Oh yeah.
No, what without naming names, what are the things that you've had to kind of pass over, or some of the situations, or what would make you say no to a project? Well, outside of money, of course.
Right. If it's just if it just seems like it's going to be an overwhelming task, based on well, I'm not going to say not necessarily the cost, but just based on whoever I may be working with may not have enough of the information in order to make it a productive or project. I mean, make it work for both of us.
Right.
Sometimes
is that if I don't have enough content, or I'm too micromanaging?
Yeah, little things like that could definitely make me think twice. If it just or you just don't connect. Everyone doesn't connect with everyone. I mean, just like you go on an interview. There's 10 people going to interview, somebody's going to get picked, and it may not be you, but it also may be a fact that you just didn't connect with the person that you interviewed with, or you're not a good fit. That's a better word.
Not a good fit. This is not a good fit for me. Thank you, though. But when did you make that leap? When did you say, okay, I'm going to do my own business?
Yeah, after I've been working for a long time, actually. Because I was always doing business on the side, you know, in addition to my job. So I guess
which is
that
helpful.
satisfied me. Yeah, because at least I knew I had a steady income, and then I could also do the other things.
Because I've noticed a lot of individuals that I get to interview, a lot of them made the jump and then started working on their work, opposed to just doing it along the way.
Yeah, as possible before you walk out the door, because you can learn a lot more too. You have time to learn because you know that you have the income that's
right, and that's a good time to learn, even if you're not physically doing the things. And I would even at some point start doing it, because then you know what you're to expect. You know how to gauge. You're actually probably building a nest egg for you to be able to start. Because I don't care how many years you work at a company, you can never save enough.
Right.
Because you're paying bills. You're paying other
you're constantly
bills.
Putting out money. Yeah.
Right. The more money you make, the more bills you accumulate for yourself. What are some of the things that you had to sacrifice once you ended that 9-to-5 career and it became yours?
Everything, a lot.
I can't have my coffee every day.
Yeah, that had a lot. All those little extra perks and treats and everything that went out of the window.
Were you prepared for that, or?
Somewhat. I knew that was going to happen. Yeah, so it's just that I had to accept it. Maybe that's what it was.
Because then that's what I just said. Like, you can never save enough. Like, and most people like, I'm gonna save up $10,000. Right, but at some point, it's gonna be more going out than coming in, or it shouldn't be that way.
No, it shouldn't be that way. If you manage it properly, it shouldn't be that way.
So you were prepared for it financially, but just in terms of the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So maybe only one vacation a year, or
I didn't have any.
Oh. And most entrepreneurs, that happens to them because even if you prepare well, you got a nice nest egg, you have to sacrifice until you're at a place where you're getting what you got from that 9-to-5.
Plus, I think after a while, you just start to get to a point after you have sacrificed for so long, it just becomes natural. So those wants, sometimes you just don't have them.
Yeah.
You know, it's
sometimes,
okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you just say, I'm cool without that now.
This thing I did in my 20s, and I didn't understand what I was doing. And I saw my mother, she used to do it. So when she had a couple extra dollars, she would buy me like a bunch of t-shirts, some underwear, like toiletries, and she would just stockpile them and put them in the thing. And I'd be like, Mom, what do you need a whole closet full of soap for? And she was like, it's gonna come a time where I don't have money to buy you the soap that you need for your skin. And I need to get it when I can get it. So naturally in my 20s, I just went and bought just like a bunch of those 5 for $20 t-shirts from Foot Locker, and I would just buy stuff. And I remember when I was 28, I was on vacation and my bank card declined. So I still had a credit card and I had my savings account, but when that checking account declined, I was like, that's how I knew. And I should have known before then, but I was used to just swiping, and it was always something going in, and always extra stuff, and I was like, oh my God, like, okay, so I gotta just move this over to this, but that was supposed to be savings, and I had to use my credit card, and I had to put a couple dollars from my savings in, and I was like, no, this is not, I can't do this. And that's what made me realize, okay, so all those days where I got t-shirts, I can still do this. I went out and invested in a nice pair of clippers, so now I cut my own hair for the most part, and if it's something special, I'll go out. But that was something that I had to learn the hard way. Like, that was a blow. Like, I was used to just put it on my card, please. Bank of America, thank you very much. But I didn't value the amount of money that was in the account versus, savings. I knew how to save, but spending. So now I splurge on supplies. Or a business card for me is a splurge, or it's really extra when I can go get a pedicure or go get a haircut, or normally for artists, food is our pleasure point. Like I can go get something to eat that I really want. and then you naturally learn how to just take away,
and then it's okay, and then you don't. Some of them you don't even miss.
You really, I don't miss going to the mall and going shopping. I really don't. I've learned to go to a thrift shop or go right to the clearance rack if I do go into a store.
I love thrift shops. I did when I was living in Europe. I mean, that's what I did.
So you lived in other countries?
Well, I did when I was in graduate school. I lived in Paris for undergraduate. Well, 1 year of it.
Wow, how was that culture shock?
Parsons. It was initially. It took about 2 weeks for.
She went from Marlborough to Paris.
Yeah, it was like a 2 week real.
Well, that was still a good learning curve because most people would be like, I gotta go back home.
No, I mean I was there for a while. I was there for 6-8 months. Yeah. But it was the first 2 weeks really kind of.
Have you decided to travel more like that, or have you traveled since then like that?
I haven't traveled since then like that, but I'm planning something coming up next year.
Okay. Yeah, so. When you get that big check from Shark Tank. Okay.
Exactly. There you go.
But how important was it? So you have a creative daughter now. How important was that to pass that creativity on to her?
Oh, that was she couldn't get around it if she tried. Couldn't get away from it if she wanted to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is. She's a blessing to me. She's an actor, but and a singer as well as some modeling, and she's done it professionally. She has an agent up in New York and that type of thing.
Oh, she went for it. She went for. I needed those full walls, that little huddle with 30 roommates, and I didn't see that.
Yeah. So she just graduated high school, and she got into Pace University for acting.
Cool.
So that's where she's heading out on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And how was it seeing her evolve as an artist based on what you went through yourself?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's been really. I was 100 and whatever percent support. I mean, every move she made, I found out that she had something with the talent when she was I think she was about 12. You know, you hear about those Disney calls. Okay, and a lot of people think they're fake.
Right, yeah.
But some of them aren't.
Yeah, I mean, they do scout that way.
And I know the ones that aren't.
Aren't
fake. I know the real deals, and this one happened to be a real deal. And I took her. I think we had to go somewhere in Virginia. I took her there, and I mean, like 2,000-3,000 people auditioned, 40-something callback, and she was a callback.
Wow.
That did it. I mean, just the one callback, and then she didn't make it any further because they do 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
The second one she didn't make.
It's like a cycle,
right? But they pull me aside and they talk to me, letting me know that she's talented. She has that whatever.
So did she go to regular schooling or the School of Arts?
Well, she started out at St. Paul School.
Okay.
She started out there for from pre-K, kindergarten was the first grade through 5th, and then from there on she ended up going to Carver Center for Performing Arts
out in Towson.
Yeah, that's where she graduated from.
Cool. Yeah. So let's take our last break, and we'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere. It's an awesome conversation. I'm gonna have to get her on before she.
Oh yeah, you gotta get her.
And we're back with more Cheryl Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. It is my honor and privilege in this HBCU shout out to say the month of November we will be fellowshipping with HBCU. And we're starting with Courtney Black. You got it.
I'm going to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff.
UAPB, baby.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go and broadcast live on KUAP FM 89.7 in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We coming at you, Pine Bluff. And then we got the road to Voorhees in Denmark, South Carolina.
That's right.
Who got Voorhees?
I got Voorhees.
That's right, and we're going to be broadcasting live on WVCD AM 790 and WVCD WCTFM 96.5, Voorhees College in Denmark, South Carolina.
Right.
Then we got to roll to Benedict College.
That is.
Right. Yeah. All right, who got Benedict College?
Benedict College, Columbia, South Carolina. South CAC, stand up.
All right. And Benedict College, hold on, wait a minute. My eyes are playing tricks on me. Benedict College, we will be broadcasting live from WBCT-FM 90.9 in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And then we will be going to the Bayou Classic. Who playing, Kyle Irving?
The Southern University Jaguars.
Playing against who, Jim Kelly?
The Grambling State University Tigers.
So I need my team to buy the cheapest plane tickets they can get. We will be staying in the hotels, eating at the Soul Food Restaurant.
There you go.
Kyle, Courtney, Vic, and Harry. Jim says, I'm not traveling with you people like this. Until you get a private jet like Tom Cruise, I'll see you in spirit. We will be broadcasting live from Cheryl Underwood Radio affiliates the entire month of November, ending with the Bayou Classic. And then on tomorrow, we're going to announce the other classics that we're going to in September and October. We are coming at you. We support HBCUs because black history is American history, but you don't have to be black to get a quality education at the HBCU. Holla at you, girl. We'll be right back. Now it's time for Warren Ballantyne's Tell Me Something You Don't Know.
Thank you, Cheryl. This is Warren Ballantyne with Cheryl Underwood Radio, and I'm going to tell you something you may not know. Well, the Koch brothers have officially come out and said, look, we're not going to put our money with certain Republicans if they're not going to listen to what we have to say. Now, I've been telling people, look, we need to make our votes matter. When you see the Koch brothers, who really are libertarians, but have supported the Republicans over the past 10 years by financing them and backing them and helping them win elections, say, look, you guys are not listening to what we want you to do, so we're not going to give you our money. That is the direct approach every American should take when it comes to their vote. You shouldn't vote just Republican or just Democrat because your parents did it or your friends did it. You should vote based on platform issues. What's important to you, and will that candidate do what you want them to do? If not, even if you vote for them and they're Republicans, if they're not doing what you want them to do, they're really not representing you. If you're voting for them and they're Democrats and they're not doing what you want them to do, they're really not representing you. I've been saying this for the last 6 months. We have to make our votes matter to the people we put into these positions. I'm Warren Ballantyne, and I hope I told you something you didn't know right here on Cheryl Underwood Radio.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Theater itself, my diction got better. My stage presence got a lot better because I always thought I was going to do TV. I always wanted to do TV. And I just didn't, all the auditions I went to, it just did not ever happen. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to do theater. And I went to a white high school. I went to Archbishop Curley, and I just didn't like it because we only did white plays. And it taught me a little bit more diversity, but it still left me open to just knowing more. Right. But I didn't get into it, and I really enjoyed acting, but I didn't really pursue it that much. But we're back. This is our last segment, and I really appreciate you going totally left today, and I learned a lot about you. And I'm normally nervous meeting people who I want to work with because I'm now at a point where I have to feel people's energy before I spend my money anywhere. It gotta feel right. And I learned that the hard way. I don't necessarily have to be friends with people, but definitely know where people are coming from. And that's kind of the whole point of the Artist Exchange, just to allow people to engage. With money being so tight in the next 3 years, it's going to really get tight. People need to know that their money is being spent and invested in people that think like they think. Businesses, I go through that whole mission statement and see who they are and who they're connected with. And I don't want to do business with somebody who doesn't respect me as an individual. And that's why I love now that the whole surgence of independent business owners is kind of at an all-time high, especially ones that are people of color, because we have to be represented. And I don't want to keep having somebody. I'm working on a project now. It's called Whitewashing Black Dreams, and we do that internally. And it's not even just them doing it to us. It's we're feeling like we have to whitewash our branding and our marketing and how we represent. If you knew how many black business owners I've interviewed who sent me their information or their press kit, and it was all non-black people or non-people of color represented, and I'm thinking I'm getting a certain person, and I'm thinking their representative is the person that showed up, and it's themselves or the owner. And I don't ever want to do that. And having a young lady who's an artist of your own, and you'll see that happening a lot. And they'll tell you, well, if you do things this way, and I'm like, sure, going to Micah, you get that, and you've gotten that. Most people can use that Micah card and get into anywhere, but when we use it, it's like, well, can I see your resume? What have you done? Can I see a little bit? Speak to, well, one, what Micah looks like today versus what Micah looked like when you went. Just that whole corridor, the fact that it's an arts district now.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Because it used to be that, the McDonald's, and I think it was like a Rite Aid's across the street or something, but...
Yeah, because, well, it was the station building, you had the main building, you had the Fox building, and I'm trying to think what else was there. There may have been one other building.
They have housing now on North Avenue?
Huge. I mean, it's all the way wrapping around North Avenue.
Do you ever go back, or?
I've been there once or twice. I'm planning to go see what I can do as far as do a little more, be an alum, you know.
Would you ever teach there?
I would. Yeah, I would teach at Micah.
So what would your focus be if you had an opportunity to teach?
I would probably stick with the graphic design.
Okay.
Yeah, either that or either focus on one specific package.
Okay.
You know, with Adobe, whether it's InDesign.
But people don't know that their classes are that specific there.
Yeah.
Like they really get. I was going to take a class. Well, I actually took a class a couple summers ago before they eliminated it as a major. But they taught you how to dye fabrics, and it was very specific as to how to dye fabrics naturally. And it was I always wanted to go there because it was, you know, the specific nature of that school kind of spoke to exactly what I wanted versus it being a regular university that just gave you kind of a mile wide, inch deep type of.
Yeah, that's the way I learned photography. Yeah, you had to learn it.
And it was a part of your course study.
Yeah, it was part of curriculum.
So, one, how can people reach you? And then I'll ask you the last question. What advice would you give to your 17-year-old self? So while you're thinking about that, let people know how they can reach you, contact you for your services.
Okay, you can contact Danette High at DanetteHigh.com. Also, you can give me a call, 443-277-7474. You can hit all my social media. I'm also at Danette High on Instagram. Danette High, DANETTEHIGH.
And what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self? Not to prevent anything, but to really just give some a little advice for when they do fall or when they run into that first brick wall.
Just try to stay focused. I would once again stick to doing vision boards. At least know what you want. Get a feel for what you think you want, and then eventually you will get more into the know of what you want. Because because if you constantly put it down on a vision board and you really see what you think you want, then you start crossing off. That's not what I really want. And by the time you look up, you know what you want.
Right.
And once you know, you take that intention and stick to it, and just keep it going.
So thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back next Monday with a whole new guest, a whole new day. So this has been the Artist Exchange. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad
goodbye. Thank
Bye.
you. It goes by fast. So.
And we're back with more Cheryl, the Underwood Radio.
Thank you, super producer. Hey, we're talking entertainment. If you'd like to weigh in on anything, I know we're talking entertainment. Did I just promote higher education? We're in our entertainment breaks on Cheryl Underwood Radio. If you'd like to weigh in on anything you heard, give us a call, 1-855-SHERYL1, or email us at SherylUnderwoodRadio.com. For the girl that called in and said, why you ain't talking about CBS? Because I'm going to keep my job. You play too much. You play too much.